All right, welcome back. I hope you're having an awesome time so far. Our next speaker is Frank Cheng. He's the president at Eyenuk. Please join me in welcoming Frank to our virtual stage.
Hello, everyone. My topic today is AI is not just the future of healthcare. It is ready now. Obviously, around the world, in recent years, healthcare AI has been growing pretty rapidly. However, up to this point, many people do not realize that some AI applications are already delivering significant impact, both clinically and economically, and may become a standard of care pretty soon, sooner than they realize. So which AI from my list here is more ready? To answer this kind of question, I like to use the Gartner Hype Cycle tool. This tool assesses how expectations on a new technology changes over time as it matures from the initial stage to the stable productivity phase. So in my assessment across these AI applications, I'm going to follow the following criteria that I'm highlighting here in this box over here, right? So the degree of AI automation, AI's performance versus today's human standard care, the extent of that validation and publication of that performance, regulatory approval status such as FDA, as well as payer acceptance and reimbursement status, which is super important for technology to become the eventual standard of care. So based on that criteria, this is how my analysis has come out. You can see that ophthalmology, radiology, and pathology are closer to real-world productivity than some of the other applications. So you may wonder why ophthalmology AI is far ahead, or is at least considered far ahead of some of the other healthcare AI applications. So let me provide some facts by using my own company, Eyenuk's experience as example. First of all, when we look at the ophthalmology space, right? So AI is really in a position to solve some major clinical and societal problems. As you probably know, diseases such as diabetic retinopathy, which is a diabetes complication, glaucoma, macular degeneration, these are pretty severe diseases. Hundreds of millions of people around the world are at risk. And when somebody has these diseases, right, they lose the vision either partially or completely, at some point, right? So diabetic retinopathy, you start to, not be able to see spots randomly in your vision. Glaucoma, you lose the side vision, and you may still have the center vision. And the macular degeneration causes somebody to lose the center vision, and they may be able to see things on the side, which is pretty nasty, right? So in order to prevent and treat these diseases, right, early detection is key. So let's see how traditionally, the clinical societies and the clinicians use, traditional ways of screening or kind of diagnosing these diseases, right? So there are two traditional ways. Both involves obviously human doctor involvement, especially by a trained eye care professional, right? The first way is you bring a physician, patient into the physician office, and there's a live examination on a sophisticated equipment set. The other is since a few years ago, the industry started to take so-called fundus image, which is the image of from the back of a patient's eye. That that film, just like a radiology film, is assessed and read by a qualified eye care professional, right? Either on the spot or remotely. You can see the clear challenges with these approaches, right? Scheduling difficulties, wait period, time consuming when the patient is with the patient, costly, require eye dilation. Human may make mistakes in terms of missing diseases, right? So these technologies are no longer considered scalable, especially consider that we have a diabetes epidemic. This is why Eyenuk was created 11 years ago by our founder, Dr. Kaushal Salanki in Los Angeles area. Right, so we're a company that focuses on machine learning, training, specialized machine learning algorithms to detect these diseases, both ranging from eye conditions as well as chronic conditions that is related to the heart, as well as the brain. Right, so here's an example of our EyeArt platform, which is the most advanced platform that we have to detect, specifically diabetic retinopathy, right? So here, a patient do not need to go to an eye care doctor anymore, right? They go to a frontline care office. primary care, for example. Sit down with the technician, for example, for a few minutes to have the photos taken from the back of the eye, typically without dilation. And then within a minute after those images become available, a standard EyeArt report will be generated and from our clouds an analysis engine, and then basically tell the caregiver whether this patient that just been tested, right, is at risk of diabetic retinopathy at two different levels: referable diabetic retinopathy as well as vision threatening. You can see the clear advantages of this approach, right? It's fully automated, results are instant, and that you do not require an eye care professional to be on site. So you may wonder how well this technology works, and also at what point, right? What has the company done in order to make this kind of technology the standard of care, for detecting such a severe disease, and it becomes scalable around the world as well, right? So I'd like to just map our our implementation across these 8 typical milestones that new technology have to travel through in order to become the standard of care. From a data and IP standpoint, we amassed over 2 million images already over the last 11 years, and the multiple grants has been awarded to us by NIH. And from a validation standpoint, we're not afraid to compare both against our peers as well as against the gold, considered the quote unquote human gold standard around the world. For example, against the research gold standard that FDA uses to assess drugs performance in ophthalmology, which is the standard called ETDRS. We compare very favorably, 96% sensitivity against a very rigorous standard in ETDRS. And also against some of the world's toughest human the best human reading programs, such as United Kingdom's National Diabetic Retinopathy Screening Program. We scored 100% sensitivity in a super large prospective healthcare AI study, as well as in another study here in the US. We achieved more than 91% sensitivity in a super large data set, which involves more than 100,000 diabetes patients, in what we believe is the largest healthcare AI study in the world. As a result, right, so we got clearances and approvals around the world, including the US FDA to market this technology. And in order to become standard care, you have to be compatible with what's available from a hardware side on the market. And we're very pleased to say that we have been validated, and also the technology has been integrated with many different kinds of imaging hardware on the market. Okay, in order to get reimbursement, right? So you need CPT code, which we received a CPT code from the American Medical Association last year, as well as related to that, multiple clinical society, namely the Academy of Ophthalmology, Diabetes Association, Telemedicine Association, NCQA has recognized this kind of AI to be used for clinical as well as quality, kind of related routine. And that which resulted, all of this have resulted in Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, right? It got convenes near the end of last year and officially covered this technology in both hospital setting as well as physician setting, right? So at the moment, we're now focusing on driving widespread clinical adoption, both in the US and around the world. Okay, so in summary, right, we believe these are the reasons, right? Fully autonomous, high performance, highly validated, as well as FDA cleared and the Medicare reimbursed, are the reason that IR technology among the different kind of ophthalmology AI are among the most ready to become standard care very soon. I appreciate your attention and happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. If you could stop sharing your screen so the audience can give you a huge virtual round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you sharing these insights with us. For the audience, it's time for you to make your way to your next session. Along the way, make sure you accept those connection requests and check out our amazing AI exhibits. Thanks so much, and we'll see you around.